CAVEMAN Chang here, and welcome to my channel. This is a skill building video series where basically we pick a skill and practice it very well so that when we see problems that require that skills, we can solve it with ease. Let's begin. For today's video, we're going to focus on adding and subtracting parentheses. Now, this seems kind of like a weird or odd topic, but I feel like there are some common mistakes that are related to this. So hopefully by the end of this video, with the tips and the things to focus on, that we will be able to avoid those common mistakes. Now, in order to work with adding and subtracting parentheses, the first thing you have to do is pay attention to the sign in front of the parentheses. Is it a plus sign? Is it a minus sign? Basically, is it positive or negative? Afterwards, we move on to step 2. If it's a positive sign, then imagine that instead of just a plus parentheses, it's plus 1 in front of the parentheses. Now, if it's a negative sign, same thing. Instead of a minus parentheses, it's now a minus 1 or a negative 1 in front of the parentheses. Then you distribute it. You distribute the plus 1 all the way into every single component inside the parentheses, or the minus 1, the negative 1, into all the different components inside the parentheses. This guarantees that if it happens to be negative, you're flipping the signs and you're not leaving anything out. It's just a way to keep it organized. So let's practice. So for the first problem, we have A minus parentheses B plus C. Now the reason, once again, I want you guys to put the 1, well in this case is a minus, so we're going to put the 1 here, is so that we can see it. We can know to distribute this negative 1 or minus 1 to everything inside the parentheses. So a common mistake is actually A minus B plus C, which is, I mean, I understand it because the minus is just in front of technically the B, which is, in the parentheses, but still in front of the B. But this way we can avoid that mistake and actually carry out what is normally intended. So A, and then this is a negative 1 or minus 1 times B plus C. So in the end, it's just going to still be A, where when we distribute the negative 1 to the B, now we're going to be minus B, and we distribute the negative 1 to the C is minus C. So notice this is the actual answer, right? And just to drive the point home, a common mistake would be A minus B plus C. Just because the minus sign is in front of the B, that's incorrect. Don't do that. Okay? Now, for this next problem, it's actually very similar to the first problem, except for notice this. Rather than the minus sign, now it's a plus sign. We're going to use the same strategy. So in front of the plus sign, actually, we're going to put a 1 here. Just so we know that we're distributing the plus 1 to the B and to the C. Now, this seems kind of extra because basically if we were to write it using the false reasoning that the plus sign is in front of B and we just write it all out as A plus B plus C, technically it's correct, and that's what scares us. Because, well, guess what? If we continue with this kind of false thinking, then the situation like the first problem, it would be an error. Well, in this case, it just happens to be that when you distribute the 1 in front of the B and then in front of the C, well, the answer is still going to be the same, right? So in this case, you have A. Well, 1 times B is just B, so it's going to be plus B, and 1 times C is just C, so it's plus C. So this is the answer, or I guess in this case, this is the answer as well. Now, for the remainder of this video, I'm going to limit myself and not provide really much of an explanation. But I honestly think you guys got it. The only thing I want you guys to do is pay careful attention to the signs and the flipping of the signs as I'm distributing the 1s and the negative 1s, right? There's not going to be any heavy comprehension or computation in these problems. So, let's begin. Thanks again for watching this video on adding and subtracting parentheses. It might seem kind of simple and weird, redundant, but hopefully at the end this video helps with some of the common mistakes. See you in the next video.